Hello, soulmates. Hope that weekend was good. Plenty to talk about on this Monday, January 9th. Happy Founders Day to the men of Phi Beta Sigma Fraternity Incorporated. Welcome to FOXSOUL's Black Report. I'm Courtney Hicks.
And I'm Nicordelai Corte. Maybe that explains why you're wearing blue today.
Well, this is a different kind of blue. Actually, this is, I'm from Detroit. This is Hawaiian blue. Go Lions.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, we're honored to be here with you wearing your lion blue.
Love my Sigmas, though.
And to be with all of you, again, standing behind this desk, taking you on a journey across Black America and the stories that impact our people.
That's right. We're going to continue to bring you our news, our views, and our voice. So let's take a look at the top headline for today. So many questions continue to linger after a 6-year-old student shot his teacher inside the classroom, and happened at an elementary school in Newport News, Virginia on Friday.
That's right, Courtney. The teacher was rushed to the hospital with life-threatening injuries and is now listed in stable conditions. The school is closed today and tomorrow for the community to process this tragedy and for school officials to arrange for counselors as needed.
Meanwhile, officials are demanding answers and changes. Fox's Lucas Tomlinson has this story.
It's a school shooting scenario that seems almost unthinkable. Police in Newport News, Virginia say a 6-year-old student shot their teacher Friday during an altercation inside their first grade classroom.
As you can imagine, this is a hard situation. It's a hard situation for families. I saw a lot of tears today. And I'm not just talking about in students' eyes.
The teacher, a woman in her 30s, was hospitalized with life-threatening injuries. Police say the shooting was not an accident. Investigators are working to determine how a first grader was able to get their hands on a gun.
There's some questions we'll want to ask and find out about. I want to know where that firearm came from. What was the situation?
Where did this child get a gun from? We have to do something about this gun violence. It is taking over now. It's taking over our baby.
It's unclear what will happen to the student. Virginia law limits what kind of punishment a child that young can face. But some parents say the problem lies elsewhere.
Let's do something. We've got a new governor now. Let's do something. Let's change it. You've got a beautiful country. You've got beautiful people. But what's the problem? Guns.
It's a dark day for Newport News. We're going to learn from this, and we're going to come back stronger.
The superintendent says the school will be closed on Monday while authorities continue their investigation. Lucas Tomlinson, Fox 2 News.
Just another tragedy. I mean, my goodness, it feels like every week we're reporting on another shooting, and, the age of the perpetrators, aren't getting older, they're getting younger.
And it takes you aback.
6 years old?
It really does.
How does a 6-year-old get a gun? How does a 6-year-old get a loaded gun? How does a 6-year-old get a loaded gun into the classroom? And how is there even a struggle that happens between the teacher and the student with a gun? So many unanswered questions with this story.
And this story broke, after we wrapped up for the day, on a lot of people's minds over the weekend, up for debate across social media. And according to reports, this 6-year-old's actions were intentional. I mean, this is what the boy, it's been identified as a young boy, meant to do. Now, this is according to some of the reports that we've seen over the weekend, which continues to blow my mind. And yeah, you're right, Nicordelai. We're going to have to figure out how he was able to get a hold of this gun, enter the school, and actually, whatever the incidents were leading up to this. It's just mind-boggling. And whether it's a 6-year-old, a 19-year-old, a 27-year-old, there are, these guns have to be taken out of the hands of those who should not have access to them. So you're right. As a country, we've got a lot of work to do, and it breaks your heart that this is happening at the top of the year, only in the second week of the year. And I had no words for this particular story. No words.
It's really a call to action, and this is a part of the country that's still healing from, remember the Walmart shooting that happened not too far away in Chesapeake? I have family that live in the Norfolk
and the 3 football
Hampton
players.
Roads area. And so, goodness gracious, give people a chance to heal from the previous tragedy without adding another. And to the comment that was made in the package about the Virginia governor doing something about this, we know that Governor Youngkin has been supported by the NRA, and so that's probably not very likely. But we can't stop. We've got to continue to push so that stories like this don't become the norm.
I agree.
Well, now off to Nevada, where in Las Vegas, at Las Vegas High School, a student is dead after suffering a medical emergency during her flag football game at Las Vegas High School. 16-year-old Ashari Hughes collapsed after going to the bench on Thursday after experiencing chest problems. She was given CPR by a nurse in the stands. A defibrillator was also used to regain a heartbeat, but she died while arriving to the hospital. Hughes' father says that she had a heart problem but was cleared to play by a cardiologist. Thursday's game was going to be Hughes' last until her heart issues subsided, the family said. She was scheduled to have a doctor's appointment on Friday. The actual cause of death is still unknown.
All right, such a sad story. Prayers to her family. Now to Phoenix, where the Wall Street Journal is asking for answers from that police department after one of its black reporters was handcuffed and detained shortly after conducting interviews outside of a Chase bank. Now, the incident between reporter Dion Robin and the Phoenix police officer took place in November, but just became public this week, or last week rather, after local news in Phoenix reported the incident. Documents show that Robin was handcuffed and detained shortly after conducting interviews about savings accounts outside of a Chase bank. Robin says he was in street clothes because he did not want people to believe he was trying to sell them something. He then said that he was unaware the sidewalk in front of the bank was private property and that the bank's employees did not ask him to leave. Now, the police department that is, said it has launched an internal investigation into the incident.
In Norfolk, Virginia, a trial is set to begin for the U.S. Army lieutenant who was pepper sprayed, attacked, and handcuffed by police. Video of the 20-0 traffic stop, that's the 2020 traffic stop. It got millions of views the next year after Karan Nazario filed the federal lawsuit that is now being heard, highlighting fears of mistreatment among black drivers and intensifying the scrutiny of the boundaries of reasonable and legal police conduct. Now, since the traffic stop, Nazario says he has developed anxiety, depression, and PTSD. This is according to his lawsuit. He's been unable to leave home at times due to hypervigilance regarding the potential for harassment by law enforcement.
Two agriculture businesses in the Mississippi Delta, along with a group of black farm workers, have settled lawsuits over claims the farms hired white laborers from South Africa and paid them more than the local black employees for the same type of work. Southern Migrant Legal Services and the Mississippi Center for Justice filed one of the lawsuits in September of 21 on behalf of 6 workers against Pitts Farms Partnership, which grows cotton, soybean, and corn. Now, 2 more plaintiffs joined the suit in November of 21. Now, the groups filed the other lawsuits in April on behalf of 5 workers against a catfish grower. Federal court records show the 2 lawsuits were settled back in December, with the terms of the settlements remaining private.
In South Carolina, federal judges have ordered lawmakers to draw new congressional maps. This all comes after courts ruled that the U.S. House district lines of a seat flipped by Democrats 4 years ago were intentionally redrawn to split black neighborhoods to dilute the voting power. The state used the maps in this past November's midterm elections after the Republican-dominated state legislature redrew the lines earlier last year following the 2020 U.S. Census. Now, the ruling said that the coastal 1st District, running from Charleston to Hilton Head Island, was drawn to remove black voters and make it a safer seat for Republicans. The judges requested state lawmakers pass new U.S. House maps by the end of March. They said no election can take place in the 1st District until it's redrawn.
To California now, where civil rights officials are suing 2 Sacramento landlords alleging they illegally harassed and evicted a tenant because she paid using a Section 8 voucher. The lawsuit is the first brought by the state civil rights department under a 2020 state law making it illegal for landlords to refuse to accept tenants who pay with subsidies like Section 8. The Section 8 program is one of the U.S. government's most powerful tools to keeping rental housing affordable and to fight overcrowding and homelessness. Now, according to court documents, the eviction notice and harassment were prompted by the tenant's refusal to continue making additional monthly payments that the landlords demanded but were not required by the voucher program. Oh, when you talk about Section 8, so many layers. And I would think in order for us to make a real accurate comment regarding this particular case, we would need some more specifics. But I know, having friends who are owners of property who invite and welcome Section 8 residents. It's a tough, layered situation sometimes to kind of work through, especially when there are disagreements about when and how those funds should be used and applied. Yeah, and what's so unfortunate, I mean, my parents used to own an apartment building in Oakland, and some of the tenants in that apartment building on 73rd and Bancroft, if I can remember, were Section 8 tenants. Yes. And, I agree with you. It's a mixed bag. I think, sometimes there are folks that utilize Section 8 as it's intended. And I think there are folks that also have abused Section 8 as well. And so I think you're right. I think we need more facts to come out in this lawsuit, in this case. But I think it's a really important case for the state of California and for the nation, as folks are really struggling to do things differently, to get creative about addressing the housing affordability crisis in this country and the homelessness crisis in this country. And so we'll absolutely continue to keep our eye on this story. We certainly will. And on to one of your favorite stories, as today will be the test in how well the Republican majority can work together moving forward. As a vote is scheduled on the new rules package, Republican Congressman Tony Gonzalez already stated that he will not be supporting the rules package due to agreements made by House Speaker Kevin McCarthy with Freedom Caucus members who had vowed to block his speakership if he did not give in to demands. Those concessions include a cap on discretionary spending, 3 seats on the Rules Committee for Freedom Caucus members, and the ability to more easily oust McCarthy. House Democratic leader Hakeem Jeffries feels a small group of Republicans have been given too much power. Now, House Republicans as a whole do have ambitious plans ahead. They promise to quickly launch investigations into areas such as the Justice Department, the southern border, COVID-19, the Afghanistan withdrawal, and the business dealings of Hunter Biden. In Miami Shores Village, black lawmakers are resigning from their positions, all due to a new law that took effect at the start of the year. The new amendment to the state constitution, which was approved by voters in 2018, prohibits lobbying by certain public officials during and for 6 years after their terms. For many who resigned, it was due to their day jobs that put them in violation of another state statute that bars public officials from working for companies doing business with their governments. The village has not yet scheduled a date to choose replacements to fill the seats now left vacant. The Reverend Al Sharpton is working towards a safer country for us soulmates. The Rev will convene with top black city and state elected officials for a summit to discuss public safety. The leaders will privately meet in Harlem Thursday evening, marking the first such meeting of New York's black leaders who hold more citywide and statewide offices than ever before. Now, in December, Sharpton called for the meeting given the historic moment. Some of the elected officials that are scheduled to attend include Mayor Eric Adams, State Attorney General Letitia James, and Senate Majority Leader Andrea Stewart-Cousins. As many black lawmakers are making history, lawmakers in Atlanta say the city council president is making the step backwards. Former officials Andrea Boone and Marcy Collier overstreet
over upset after Atlanta's City Council President Doug Shipman failed to appoint black women to chair any of the council's 7 committees, which, according to the former members, is a 4-decade-long legacy. The 2 women took out a paid ad in the local paper calling Shipman's actions arrogant and saying that they could have brought light to this behind closed doors, but these actions have long-term implications and must be exposed.
All right, shifting gears here as we check back in with Mr. Hamlin. You could really feel the energy inside the stadium as the Bills took to the field Sunday. This was the first time they played since their safety, DeMar, went into cardiac arrest during a Monday Night Football, and the world has been closely watching his recovery. As the Bills took the field on Sunday, you can see at the start of the game, they started running out on the field, honoring safety DeMar Hamlin, carrying flags with his jersey number 3. The game against the Patriots off to a great start when Nyheim Hines caught the opening kickoff, running 96 yards for a touchdown to give the Bills an early lead. The win, all for DeMar.
I mean, our spirits have been high ever since Thursday morning, when we got the news. So just wanted to come out and play free, play loose, play for him. And obviously the first kickoff, and you couldn't have scripted any better, man. Like it was pretty. That one was pretty emotional.
The Bills safety tweeting this picture of him and his parents at the hospital, also live tweeting during the Bills game from his hospital bed. Hamlin has been in critical condition since he went into cardiac arrest during the Bills-Bengals game during Monday Night Football. That medical emergency followed what looked like a routine hit on the field. Medical staff jumped into action, performing CPR right away. The 24-year-old was sedated and then put on a breathing tube. On Thursday, doctors announced that Hamlin was responding, even asking doctors who won the game. On Friday, his breathing tube was taken out, and he was then able to FaceTime with his teammates. The city of Buffalo has been through a lot lately, a mass shooting that took 10 lives at the Tops grocery store, and the city's still recovering from that major blizzard that left dozens dead. Fans tell us this game was emotional for the entire city.
We need to win the Super Bowl. We need to go to the Super Bowl. Buffalo needs the Super Bowl. We needed it for years, but we need it this year.
Indeed, Hamlin says he's so grateful for the fans who have been supporting him and sending their prayers. He knows he'll need them as this is going to be a long road to recovery. Since he went into cardiac arrest on Monday, his charity has raised more than $8 million and counting. Just a great story, remarkable recovery that he is having. And we are excited that his particular team, the NFL and the union, have decided to, pay this contract out, which is really unprecedented. I know that his injury was like none other, but maybe this will fall out or into other injuries that are just as serious, that are career-ending, such as the CTE. CTE, I know there's a lot of debate as to, how to go about looking at that, but hopefully I think listen, God works in mysterious ways, and I'm so glad he is still here with us. But I think the fallout of this is really going to be positive as to what areas it can affect. It brought a nation together, first and foremost, from all different walks of life and beliefs and colors to pray for this young man. And hopefully we can continue to tap in this for the good.
Yeah, and I think that's really the wonderful thing that we get a chance to see. We see folks coming together, and what a unifying force. Mm-hmm. What a unifying force he has been for our country and for folks that love football. What a unifying force he's been for Buffalo, who, as you mentioned in the package, Buffalo's been through a lot.
They've been catching it,
and so we love watching this miracle continue to unfold.
That's a great word.
Right before our eyes.
That's right.
Still ahead, the shocking new research regarding black men and cancer.
We'll tell you everything you need to know to stay on top of your health. We'll be right back. You're watching FOXSOUL's Black Report. It's an amazing story.
It is.
And I want, hopefully things will continue to move